Okay, so for this class, I'll be featuring how you the isometric projection. If you're using article architecture, it would have saved you a tremendous amount of time to the long, tedious method. All right. Let's say, for example, this is your floor plan, and for this, I'll be using a very simple outline, a very simple hip roof. All right, very simple hip roof. All right. All right. All right. So this is pretty much it. Um, if there are two important information that you'll need to be able to generate before you start drawing. One, you will need to know, definitely you'll need to know this distance. You will need to know this distance, the distance from here to there, that distance. You must know that distance. So this is referred to as your x distance. So you will need to know this. And you pretty much, once you have generated the outline for the roof, this should be at 45 degrees or half this angle. You simply measure from here to here. This is the distance that the roof sloped in from the eave towards the ridge board. So we'll need to know this distance. We will also need to know this distance as well. We'll also need to know the span of the roof. You'll also need to know this. And for that, I'll be tracing the roof outline. We'll also need to know this, right? Because this is the top view. You will also need to know the front view. And here, this angle, we see, for example, you're using a 30-degree pitch for the roof. We would have 30, we'll draw this at 30 degrees, this also at 30 degrees. And we would trace this point at the point where this point, at the point where here touches, we draw a vertical line down from here to there, that down. And at the point where the 30-degree cuts here is where we generate our horizontal. All right. So that will determine where that is. So that will determine the height of the roof, the altitude of the roof, basically. All right. So we would need to know this distance, the height of the roof, or the altitude of the roof. We'll also need to know how far in this 45-degree pitch sloped. All right. So here would be your x value. This would be our y value. This distance here. This our y value. Right? So those information are very important. Or y value. Y value. All right. So once you have generated those information, you are ready to progress. The next step would be to determine which method of three-dimensional view you want. As you could choose to use oblique projection, or isometric projection. At the same time, let me draw the outline for the house. All right, outline for the walls. All right, so this is our wall outline, and I'm assuming this to be a simple roof outline. All right. So once you have generated this, you would physically measure this distance to get your x value, this distance to get your y value. The next step is to start the isometric view for this. And we are using standard isometric projection. So you generate your lines in the isometric plane. So here would have been our longer side. So for that, you would measure this distance, place it on this side here. Then we'd measure our width and place it on this side. Then you would draw, well, I guess I assume you know how to generate your isometric. Yeah. Then you would generate the other section, the intersection for that. Yeah. Then we would generate our height, which is the distance from the ring beam, from the finished floor to ring beam. We would generate that. Yeah. We would generate that. All right. The next step, once you have done this, it's important to know that depending on the shape of your roof, you would pretty much add your different outline from that. All right, the next step is to offset these lines at a distance equivalent to the distance of the overhang for the roof. All right, let me change color. So my next step would be to offset this by 450. So I would pretty much draw next line around this at 450 millimeters. So I would offset this. You could use a polyline here, then offset this to generate the outside for that. Generate the outside for that. So this is basically the overhang, right? That's the overhang right there, overhang. So the roof will be generated from this. What you could do in order to prevent confusion, you could delete everything inside here. You could delete everything inside here as you no longer need anything inside here. And in my case, I will be using a thicker line to distinguish that. So for that, I'll be using a thick line to distinguish that. Oh, probably I shouldn't draw everything yet, as I will definitely not need everything. So this is basically what we will be working from. The overhang, the outline for the overhang, right? My next step would be to draw a line through the middle, here. And this line will determine, we will use this line to mark off where we generate our X and our Y value from, all right? Once you have drawn this line, the next step is to mark off this distance here. Let's say you measure this and this turns out to be 2,000. This turns out to be, let's assume that this is 2,000. That's 2,000. The roof sloped by 2,000 millimeters inward, and this is 2,000, 1,800. The height is 1,800. 1,800. 1,800. Let's say this is that. Our next step is to engage your top face. Remember, this will be done in isometric projection. So you would engage the appropriate face, and from here, you would either track this line or you could start a line here, move in 2,000 on the x-axis, and 1,800 on the y-axis. So from here, 2,000 on the x, 1 up on the y. And this point is this point here. This point here. So we would have generated this first point here. The next step would be to generate this other point across here. And again, we engage line, or you could track this here. Track this. Yeah, track this here to get 2,000. Then you go 1,800 up. Yeah. And this will determine where between these 2 points is their ridge line, the ridge line which is between here to here. All right, between here to there. So our next step would be to start brightening up. So for that, let me go for a thicker line. So I would first join from here to there. Then I would join from this corner to the first end down here. From that point to the end right here. And from here to there to get this side, from here to here. No, you would realize that I would not need this line around here as we only draw what is visible, all right? So for this, I would need to delete or not brighten up the back section. So I'm gonna delete that section, all right? So that is basically how that would look, all right? Our next step here would be to, our next step is to draw a line from here. Is to brighten up from here. Oh, we need to add our fascia board. So we would go 250 down here and 250 down here, 250 down here as well. Then we would join from here to there. Line is not right straight. Then 200, then join this line here. Next, we would bring this down, we brighten up this, all of that section. All right. So that is pretty much that for that. For this, you could add your roofing material. You might want to. You'd add your windows and your doors, yes, on the various plane, and you'll also add your hatch material. So this is basically the basic. This is the most basic, pretty much. And for persons whose roof has a different shape from this, you would basically apply the same principle. All right, the same principle would be applied. All right. Any question, guys? You have any question? No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Let me try to do another shape roof to help you to generate that. All right. All right. So I'm gonna delete this, erase this now. All right. All right. Okay. Say for example, we have a different shape roof, which I'm sure persons will have from time to time. Um, let's say a roof shape like this. I'm trying to remember. Not a shape roof. All right. Let's say you have a roof that shapes something like this. All right. Your roof shapes something like this. Okay, I should start a little bit further up. Let's say you have a roof that shapes something like this. All right. Let's say your roof shaped like this. The first step would be to generate the outline, generate the roof framework for this one. All right. And for that, all right, so I would first draw the ridge line, generate the ridge line first for that side, ridge line here. Next step would be to bisect these angles. Here would have been 45, here 45 also, here 45, here 45. Yeah, we would also offset this 45, that 45. And as a rule, so the first rule is to draw your ridge lines first. All right. And we must bisect this angle also. And well, in all cases, this is normally parallel to this edge right here. So it would also generate that at that angle. All right. So this roof outline would look something like this. Basically, would look something like that. All right. So now it's time for me to brighten up or use my outline. All right. So I would then brighten up this roof using a thicker line. All right. So this will look something like that. All right. So that is basically how the roof would look. And this would be there. This would be here. All right. That would be there. So that would be the basic outline for a roof like this. Now, once I've generated this, the next step would be to determine the height for each part of this. All right. So let me go back to a pay line. All right. So the next step would be to draw, it would be to produce lines down here from the plan. So you must generate a plan for the roof first before you generate the orthographic view. All right. So this would have been that. And the next step is to bring these points vertically downward. From that point, that goes down. This goes down also. All right. And so I would first generate that first. Then I would generate this section. So from here, say for example, you're using a pitch of 30 degrees. You draw this line 30, draw this 30. Where it cuts here would be that point. From this side, 30 degrees also. Then you draw this across. All right. So let me brighten up this. All right, so this would be that. Brighten up that, and this would come across like this. All right. And we have our fascia board coming down here. Fascia board. The next step is to generate this section here. All right. And again, same principle applies. We would bring this line down, bring this point down as well, right? Then from this point, the pitch is same 30 degrees, so you would draw a line down. Oh, for this, I would need to determine draw the, so this would have been that. I'll draw this 30. This would have been 30 here. That would have been 30 there also. 30, well, 30, 30, 30, 30 for that. And where those 30 degrees fall would be that side, all right? All right, so let me brighten up this. Brightness a bit. So we'll generate that at 30. Yes, morning. 30 degrees from that point to that point, 30, 30. So that's basically how this would look. And of course, we'd have this coming down here. All right. So once you have these information, see, you know right off the bat that the height for this would be here. All right, this is they have one height here. So these are the information that we'll need to be able to generate isometric view. Yeah. Now, any question, guys? Any questions so far? No question? Okay. All right, let me draw the outline for the wall here. So we'd have that there. All right. So we'd have that there. All right. All right. The next step would be to establish our vertical and horizontal line. Then generate this at 30 degrees. That's at 30 degrees. All right. So once you have that at 30 degrees, we'd have this here. Generate that there. All right. Yeah. The next step would be to draw the outline for these. All right. Outline for these. So we would start by calculating this distance here. So we would mark this. The best method here is to treat this as an overall box, a large box. Yeah, large box. So we'd calculate all of from there to there, all right? So we'd generate that, all right? That section. Next, I would go from here, go here and mark off, or you could start from here. Anyway, work. I think it's work best when we create one full mark of a full box and then cut out section. So I would mark this distance here, or you could also just draw this piece first and then add this section to it also. Anyway, fine. Any method you find easier, it's up to you. All right. All right. So for AutoCAD, you would just go bam, you go bam, that. So this should have been that. Let's draw that using that. All right. All right, so we have that for that. Next step, we would draw a line here for that, generate that section. All right, then we go there and that. So this would basically be the outline for the floor. All right. The next step would be to project these lines. The next step is to generate our height. All right. All right for this. So we would bring these up at the length that we want. All right. All right. Yeah, then we bring this there, that there, that there. So what I would do in a case like this, I would just copy down here and bring it up. Yeah, so copy down there and bring it up. Here can be a little, confusing. Yes, it can be. So what I would do, I would basically just bring these up. All right. All right, so I would have that, this, that there, and that there. Yeah, this kind of had a process. So here would be, okay, I think I should use a different color to outline the top section. So this should have been the, too close. So we have the outline there for that. All right, outline for that. No, we'll have to treat this as same principle applies. We're now we draw a horizontal line here to get that section. Yeah, so we would draw our line here, let me use a different color. I think that line is too pale. Let me use a brighter color. So we'd have this here, and the same principle applies. We would transfer this distance here. We would transfer this distance on this line, this distance on this line here, then up. Transfer that distance there on this line, then go up, and then we would join here to here to there to get that part. This would go to that part, and there to there to get that part. Now, the interesting part is now here. As for this part, the same principle applies. The same principle applies when we would just from the other view. We need to create an transfer this distance onto this distance onto this. So we'll transfer from here to here onto this. Say it is here. Then we would to get the height so here would be the x distance, the y would be here, from here to here. The y would have been from here to there. So we'll use that distance here for this, for that, yeah. And we would join here. So we draw this in at a distance equivalent to this. Whatever this is, we will transfer this distance here to here. Then we would join that at the corner. Then we join there to here. Yeah. We join here to there. Yeah. So this distance here to here, this is the y distance, is the x distance. X will determine how far in we go. This distance here, this height, will determine how high we go. All right. And if you look, if you're keen, you might be able to generate to see the roof being formed. All right. So this is basically my overhang to this still. All right. So this is basically adding my overhang pretty late, you know, but so that is pretty much how you generate the roof. All right. All right. That's basically how we generate it. Yeah. Oh my. Then we add our fascia board. For this, I'm gonna use a different color for the fascia board. So our fascia board would be like down here, down there. Fascia board would be like there. Fascia board would be like here. Then come down here. Fascia board here. All right. Am I making any sense, guys? Am I? We have 7 minutes ago. Entertaining your questions. Well, 2 minutes. Well, I have 2 minutes on Zoom and 7 minutes to go. When this session ends, I don't think I'll be restarting this. Okay. Oh, my next move would be to ensure that I brighten up this. I brighten up the walls for the house. So this looks like a real house. Yeah. So that's basically how it would look. All right. My roof look a little crappy, you know, but yeah. I'll be doing some video on how to generate this, you know, using. So here would have been your roof material. Yeah, your roof. One side of your roof. Do you understand this drawing, gentlemen?
Yes,
We need some feedback. And this would have been like the other side of the roof. Yeah. That would have been that. This now these would be would pitch this way. Here would have been a valley. I have a valley right here. Valley there. Valley there. Here would have been another pitch on this side. All right, that's pretty much our roof. Probably you would want to, for here, you probably would have your veranda on this side. Yeah, probably would have a veranda here. Green for the veranda with your arch and stuff. Your arch, you know, and your columns and stuff here. Yeah. Your arch here and arch there. That would be your veranda. All right. We have less than a minute to go. Once the session ends, that's basically it. All right, guys, it was nice being here. If you have any challenge with this, please feel free to WhatsApp me. I will be drawing some of these using actual measurements. I think I might do that for the next class, the double session. All right.